This next gentleman, he's been off actually directing plays. He's been doing his thing. His play is actually called 12th Night. Is that correct, Jeffrey?
Yes.
And July 18th through 20th at the RPAC. I'm not very good at pushing things down people's throats, so I hope this is going okay. July 18th through 20th, 12th night. Please welcome to the stage, Jeffrey Taylor. By the way, Jeffrey didn't ask me to do that. I did that for him. Go get him, Jeffrey.
Thank you, James. Thank you very much. Yes, so my name is Jeffrey, although my friends call me Jeff. Professionally, I go by Jeffrey. And sometimes this does cause a touch of confusion because people will ask me, wait a second, am I supposed to call you Jeff or Jeffrey? And the truth is, I don't care. I don't even pay attention. So if you've ever known a Jeff or a Jeffrey that you didn't like, call me the other one. Because we've all known one, haven't we? I mean, maybe it was that guy who used to pull your hair, you know, back in second grade, or that guy who beat you up for your lunch money at work last week. There is, however, one circumstance under which I am always Jeffrey and never Jeff. That's when I'm on the phone. Because if I'm speaking to an agent or an operator and I tell them that my name is Jeff, there's a 50-50 chance that the name that they hear is Chip. And I mean no disrespect to anybody out there tonight. If your name happens to be Chip, I just want you to know that you have the stupidest name on the planet. And to those agents and operators who might accidentally, mispronounce my name, all I can say is this. As a rule, I do not ever wish death on anyone under any circumstances. But when your time inevitably comes, I would personally appreciate it if you could suffer, because that would really help me out psychologically. Well, this is what I look like. Sorry about that. I'm sure you can tell by looking at me. Obviously, my father was English and my mother is the comedian Carrot Top. Now, when I was younger, in my teen years, I had no idea what to do with this ridiculous hair of mine. I didn't know how I wanted to have it cut, how to style it, or anything like that, so I just left it alone. And as you can imagine happens, after a while, I ended up with these long, luxurious, flowing locks of hair. I mean, you can imagine it, right? No? Well, that hurt. Well, the joke that I used to tell at that time when people would say, wait, but Jeff, why did you grow your hair so long like that? And I said, well, I didn't know what to do with it, and I figured, hey, if I ignore the problem long enough, that it would go away. Then it did. I suffer from a lot of anxiety. Anybody else here have anxiety issues? Okay, yeah, we got a couple of you willing to admit it. That's great. Now, for me, it's not nearly as bad now as it was when I was a little kid, because my parents, it's entirely their fault. They meant well, but it always just kind of came out wrong. I'll give you an example. When I was 3 years old, my father thought it would be a fun, neat idea to take me, his 3-year-old son, out to see out to a drive-in movie theater. Now, for anybody who's not familiar, a drive-in movie theater, that's where you drive into the outdoor theater, you wait for the sun to go down, they project the movie on a screen outside, and so that's what my dad decided to do. But here's where my anxiety kicked in. He decided that he wanted to leave the movie before it was over. Now I say he said he was tired, but in reality he had finished his six-pack. And this was the 1980s, so don't get me wrong, drinking and driving was most definitely illegal, but mostly it was just sort of frowned upon, assuming you're white. So he brought me to see the Disney classic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and here's where things went wrong. If you want to give your child anxiety, do exactly what my dad did. Show your kid Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and right at that moment where she takes a bite from the poisoned apple and falls down dead, turn the movie off. Put your kid to bed. No, you don't need a bedtime story. You've just watched a movie. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. No, I promise. There are no monsters in your closet. Uncle Chip is in prison upstate now. Well, I'm 44 years old right now, and I mean, so I'm at an age where younger people, teenagers, people in their 20s, they look at me and they do say, they see someone who is clearly old. They'll say, well, you're old. But older people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, they don't look back at me and say, oh, you're so young. There's only one circumstance under which I will ever be called young again, and that's in my obituary, assuming I die soon. I am trying to avoid that, trying to make some healthier choices in my life. Exercising more, eating more salads. Oh, my favorite salad dressing, Cheese Whiz. Oh, laugh at that if you will. Say what you will about Cheese Whiz. Not everybody knows this, and this is true. There are properties in Cheese Whiz that will actually help the body to stave off cancer. It's true. That's why I down a jar of it every day with my morning cigarette. My wife's been on my case a lot lately about my drinking. She says I've been drinking too much, and that if I don't find a support group of some kind, that she's going to leave me. So I did some research, finally found the right group for me. It's called Alcoholics Unanimous, and we meet here. When I was younger, I used to think I was a hypochondriac, but then, the symptoms turned out to be psychosomatic. I can see some of us remember our 9th grade vocabulary words. And sometimes when people get to know me a little bit, they'll tell me that I have a tendency to come off as overtly abrasive. That's the term that they use. They say that I'm overtly abrasive, to which I can only say, I have no idea what you're talking about, you talentless troglodyte. When I was in the 9th grade, the big thing that was going on with all the young women at the time was they all wanted to have these enormous bangs that they would tease in hairspray, enormous bangs. And one time, I was sitting in science class and the girl in front of me started to try and make fun of me for some reason. Big mistake. Big mistake for a future stand-up comedian trying to make fun of you. But so I just said to her, look, I'm really sorry if I offended you in some way, but I really do just love how you're able to use your bangs to cover up your lobotomy scar. Dang. Oh, she got mad. She said, stop using those big words. Yeah, after all, why use big words when diminutive verbiage will suffice? I don't know about you guys, but I had a really good pandemic. Anybody else have a really good pandemic? Yeah. I had a really good pandemic because it turns out I was already socially distant. But with everything that was going on at around that time, I decided, okay, what can I do to help out? So I started donating blood. I was donating blood pretty regularly until they cut me off because the recipients kept ending up high. And their offspring would have red hair. Anybody out here a fan of astrology? Any fans of astrology? Yeah, fan of astrology? What's your sign?
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, that's awesome. Okay, I have no idea what that means. But here's the thing. That's cool. So you know astrology, here's the thing. I'm a Scorpio, so you know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact, those of you who don't know, fun fact about Scorpios, none of us believe in astrology. Thank you all very much. I'm going to hand it back over to James.
Great job, Jeffrey. Great job, Jeffrey. Keep it going for Jeffrey Taylor. We have 3 more comedians coming up for you. 2 more features, and then your headliner that you guys are going to enjoy.